I don't really want another Peyton Manning 3.0 experiment in Denver. And I know Dak Prescott is going to be one of the hottest quarterbacks coming into free agency if he doesn't get re-signed by Dallas, mind you. And I mean, me personally, and if you've already heard us argue about this 2 episodes ago, but I'm not ready. I'm not ready to cash out Drew Lock. I'm not really ready to cash out Pat Shurmur because I just feel that the pandemic and the injuries have really hurt Drew Lock. Not Pat Shurmur. Pat Shurmur's had all the time in the world to try to come up with a game plan, and it's not working so far. But at the same time, I'd like to see what he can do, in year 2 as a coordinator, because I really don't want to give Drew Lock another offensive coordinator and have him, learn on an entire new scheme, or vice versa. Go get another quarterback and have them try to adapt to the offensive coordinator Pat Shurmur is, and it just doesn't work. So we need to try to fix what we have before we decide to clean the slate and start over.
Well, and we, like you said, we talked about this before, and I think a lot of it depends on how Drew Lock continues to play the rest of the season. I mean, I think he did enough in the Miami game to at least buy him some time if he's in the right system like he was then, to let him continue to see if he progresses. If he progresses, then I think you almost have to give him next year. But if he stays the same or gets worse, then I think if he stays the same and doesn't progress, they take a quarterback if he falls to him. But they're not going to reach for one. If he gets worse, they'll reach for one. And that kind of goes into his next question. Zach Wilson in the draft, people like Micah Parsons, but he reminds me of A.J. Johnson. Again, if Drew Lock doesn't progress in like the most basic offensive system you can have, they'll either I don't know. I don't expect to see Lawrence or Field. That's not going to happen.
No, that's not going to happen.
But like if a Zach Wilson falls to us, maybe.
And please no more Sam Darnold to Denver, because I'm getting tired of seeing that on Twitter and social media. There's a reason why the Jets are going to dump Sam Darnold, and
because Adam Gase sucks.
Aside from that, and
he even admitted that he has not done anything to develop Sam Darnold.
Yeah, that
and
too.
He's still there. Like, why is Gase still have a job?
Because they want to go 0-16.
Yeah, they can't risk having the Lions,
the Jags grab it,
or the Jaguars, or one of those even worse teams jumping them up.
So here's a question off of the quarterback questions. Why did we pick up Shurmur, the Pat's son?
Because
they give us 5 quarterbacks now. What do we need another quarterback for?
He's the emergency to the emergency quarterback. He's like forward.
He's the quarantined quarterback.
Yeah.
So why isn't Bortles?
No, they have him sitting in the line at In-N-Out Burger.
Yeah. Bortles is just
or honestly Driscoll, because Driscoll was terrible. So why wouldn't you have Driscoll be like the emergency quarterback just in case? We already had 4. Bortles, Driscoll, Rippon, and Locke. What do we need a 5th one for?
5 quarterbacks. That sounds like my fantasy football team.
Next question, please.
Like they're trying to compete with the tight end roster.
Next question, please.
Well, let me throw this one out. We all know I love Drew Lock, but now there's talk of a potential Matt Stafford deal, and I have to tell you that is pretty intriguing. I mean, this guy has never really had some serious weapons all across the board. I mean, he's had Megatron, he's had no running game, he's had the occasional tight end, but I picture Matt Stafford with these young players, and it is pretty intriguing. Even though I'm not ready to move on from Drew, it's something to think about now that it's been out there.
Okay, you know what, Glenn? I'll actually throw a coin in your well, because I'm pretty sure that before. No, you get a nickel. because I'm pretty sure as long as John Elway stays as GM, it's almost guaranteed that he's going to try to swing for that Peyton Manning 3.0 plan, and he's going to go and get a veteran quarterback. And if it is Matthew Stafford, I totally agree with you. I think I would, I'd be pissed off about it that they, decided to move on from Locke, but I'd be okay with it because Matthew Stafford, when he had Megatron, was just unbelievable. And as soon as Megatron retired, it just became the Matthew Stafford show. And I've had that argument with my brother quite a lot. But I think that a change of scenery, which is what the Lions are going through right now, depending who they get as their new GM and coach, they could be moving on from Matthew Stafford. So if the Broncos do decide to go that route, like I'd be upset with it at first, but then, you know, over time I'd learn to live with it. Hell, we learned to deal with Flacco.
No, we didn't.
No,
we didn't.
Hey, I tried. Okay, I tried. I have to get behind whoever
No,
snaps
but
the ball.
If the Broncos bring in a veteran quarterback, Drew Lock's done. That's
for sure.
But I've also heard the same. I've also heard the same thing about Matt Ryan too.
Yeah. Oh, he's too old.
No,
I know. I'm just saying, new coach, new GM, new system. I've heard the same thing about Matt Ryan too.
But
do you think if they do bring a veteran quarterback in that Locke is done? Like, or do they want to bring a veteran quarterback in so he can learn behind them?
It could be that.
I think it kind of depends on if they draft a quarterback. Like if they get a veteran like Stafford or Ryan and then draft one, Locke's done. But if they get a veteran and don't draft a quarterback, then it's to let Locke learn.
Right.
Yeah.
But don't you think they'd have to include Drew in a trade if they did it with the Lions?
No.
And Christy, what do you think? Because you're one of the trifecta here on the show.
They might as well.
So I'd love to hear what you think about a Stafford type of play.
Yeah, I don't know. I think I'm like a Dawn. I don't want to give up on Drew Lock, so I think that takes precedence over any feelings that I have about Stafford. But I definitely Stafford has the talent, and I'm not opposed to it if that's what it comes down to. But I'd like to see, if they do that, I'd like to see him learning behind Drew Lock learning behind him. Definitely. Yeah.
Could Drew's ego take that, a demotion?
It seems to me like Drew can take anything. He's had a hell of a season, and